Pharma Ltd. He's also a contributing article writer in publications like The Economic Times, ET HR World, and Human Capital magazine. We are thrilled to have you with us today, sir. Before we get started, I would like to introduce our principal, Dr. Pooja Ramchandani, whose expertise has always been our guiding light. Unfortunately, Pooja ma'am could not join us due to prior commitments. Now, I would like to introduce Dr. Naveen Punjabi, Associate Professor and Director of the Placement Cell. All of us know him as a very enterprising and enthusiastic mentor with a vision to ignite minds and awaken hearts. Unfortunately, Naveen sir could not join us today due to certain unforeseen circumstances. Today's session will focus on LinkedIn networking. Sir, I now invite you to address our students and share your valuable insights.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much for the kind introduction. Very happy to be facilitating this session. Very happy to be interacting with the future leaders, with the young minds of HR college. Before I start, a big thanks to Pooja madam, to Dr. Naveen Punjabi, to Jaya madam. I think their mentorship has helped me grow a lot, helped me learn a lot. So thank you so much to them, and obviously to HSNC board and to HR college. What we will do is I'm going to try and keep this session a bit interactive. I will have a few slides which I will share. I will also maybe share a bit of live demo. But yeah, your interaction and your involvement is going to actually make the session successful and at the same time more fruitful for each one of you out here. So I'm going to start off with a few questions, and I would like to hear from you the answer to that. Uh, I assume chat is enabled. If chat is enabled, you can put your answer on chat as well. So my first question for you, which is related to today's topic. Usually people, when they think of networking, the first thing that comes to their mind is a job. A job is what a lot of people network for. A lot of people also network for business and for other reasons. But yeah, job is one of the key reasons. So if I were to check with you, what is the percentage of jobs that are not advertised on any job portal or website? So there are multiple researches that have been done on this topic, and I'm referring to one of the uh, sources which I could dig. Even a close approximate figure would be good. I would like to hear from you. What percentage of jobs are never advertised on any job portal or company website?
So I believe it's a large number, like 40 to 50%.
All right, Shashank, you'll have to be a little louder.
Uh, so I believe it's higher. It's around 40 to 50%,
All
and
right,
especially for higher roles, not for fresher roles.
All right, Shashank says 40 to 50%. Kavita says 15%. Satish says 70. Rushi Prasad says 60 to 70. Nita says 80. Laksha says 70. Can I get a few more responses? All right, 80 to 85%. 80%. I'm looking at the chat. If anybody wants to unmute and speak, that is also okay with me. Thanks, Shashank, for sharing your view. Right, I see some more responses, 65 to 70, 30 to 40, 90% says Ria. Ria, probably the world will move in that direction. Manas says 60, Kabir says 50, Taruna says 50 to 60. So yes, many of you guys are close. It is almost, you could say 70% of the jobs which are never advertised on any job portal or on any kind of a website. Uh, these vacancies are filled through other sources, which would mean referrals, which would mean directly connecting with employees without, or connecting with prospective employees without putting up anything on any of the job portals. My next question, again, a percentage that I would like to hear from you. What percentage of vacancies are filled through referrals? So what do you guys think? What percentage would that be? Percentage of vacancies filled through referrals? Right, Pri says 20, Priyanka says 10 to 20. Shiv Kumar says 30. Manat says 20. Kavita says 40, 30. All right, I see a trend of maybe 20 to 40% is what most of you are indicating. You guys would be surprised when you hear that some of the research reports say that almost 85% of jobs are closed through referrals. So there is someone who's involved in the referral process, which leads to the job getting closed. Now, uh, even if you were to discount it by a bit, it's still way, way, way higher than the numbers that you put in on screen. Uh, so that's the trend that seems to be there. I'll move on to the next question that I have. There's a certain percentage of candidates who get hired in a company where they have at least one connection, where they have at least one person whom they know. What percentage do you think would that be? What percentage individuals? So 100% people get hired by any company, one or the other company. Out of those 100 people getting hired, what percentage would have at least one connection in the company in which he or she is getting hired? Right? Kavita says 45, Preeti says 30, Jatin says 60, Meet says 30, 25 to 30, right? 30, 70 to 80, 60, Isha says 50, right? Thank you for sharing your responses. And the right number there is almost 70%. So almost 70% individuals have someone who's a direct connection in that specific organization where he or she may be going, which also leads us to believe that we need to have more connections. And we will come on to how do we get more connections, how do we know more people as we move forward in the session. My next question to you is, what percentage of people do you think use LinkedIn to strengthen their visibility, to strengthen their profile, to strengthen their professional network? Right, 95 to 99, 80, 20, 10, 70, 40, 90 plus, 90 plus, 60 to 70. Okay, I can see some varied responses. All right, 75, 80 to 90. Right, Sahil is being a little more specific, saying 55 to 60 in India. Okay. Right. So the research report says that almost 84% uh, of people are leveraging LinkedIn. Now, obviously, this data can change from region to region, country to country, or maybe even sector to sector or kind of job that we are talking about. So you must take this with a pinch of salt. However, I think all 260 plus individuals present out here belong to a certain gentry and would want to get into a certain kind of job. And the kind of jobs that we are talking about, I think, or the kind of work, not necessarily job that we are talking about, is something where LinkedIn is something which can be extremely useful for you to network, for you to know more people, for you to be connected to more people. I will ask one more question, and I believe that there are quite a few people out here who would say, boss, I am not interested in a job. I am more interested in doing business, or I'm more interested in being an entrepreneur. And I would also like to be inclusive and welcome their views on board. So my next question is related to them. And before I ask the question, if I could get a quick show of hands or a yes on chat saying, yes, I am wanting to be an entrepreneur or join a family business, either show of hands or on chat, if you could put yes. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A big yes is what I see from Pratham. 10, 11. The numbers are increasing. looks like the young India, the new India is very much wanting to be entrepreneurial, is very much wanting to be in business. Great, happy to see those numbers. And my next question, keeping all of you guys in mind, and I would love to hear your views on this. What percentage of business executives feel that they would lose their business if they stop networking? So I just reiterate my question. Sorry, I don't think I mentioned it correctly. What percentage of business do you think business individuals feel they would lose out on if they don't network, if they stop networking? All right. Kavita says 90%. 90% business would be wiped out. Okay, yes, depends on business to business, but uh, a certain percentage can get wiped out. 50, 70 to 80, 70 to 80, 75, 100. Great. I see all numbers which are, most numbers which are greater than 70. I see one which is 45 to 50, 60 to 65. All right, great. Thank you for sharing these numbers. Now, again, the number, like I said, would depend from what kind of a business you are, how established is your business, how much of a repeat buy-in do you have. But the research report that I refer to says at least 28% of business, that's close to 30% of business would be wiped out, would be lost out if you're not networking, which brings me to the fact that networking is critical. Uh, not just for people who are in the job market or are in service industry, but also for those who are in business or are entrepreneurial in the kind of work that they are doing. So here were some numbers that I thought I should discuss with you, and this also helps me set the context in terms of the importance of networking. Networking has always been important and is becoming easier and becoming more and more important is the way I would like to say. Next, what I would like to do is quickly understand from you, uh, if today's session is on LinkedIn networking, and we will talk about LinkedIn, but if you were to first focus on the word networking, uh, what is networking? How do you define networking? So if I could hear from you or read on chat, what according to you is networking? Right, you may feel free to turn on your video and unmute yourself and share your answer. What's your
Knowing each other, knowing each other,
knowing
like,
each other?
yeah.
Okay, I would request you to think deeper. You're right, it is about knowing each other, but it goes beyond knowing each other. Jonas says a web which connects people. Yes, networking is a web which connects people. Networking is about making connections, connecting with like-minded people. It is about knowing people, connecting, gathering. All right, you guys are close, but you need to think a little more deeper. I was expecting answers straight away, but I see some of you have given partial answer. All right, now I see some deeper answers. Exchanging ideas with same interests, establishing contacts and building your social database. Networking is when you share a common point. All right, I like the definition which Sujal has put in. He says, networking is the process of building relations that could be helpful in the future. Okay. Connecting with different fields. All right, so there are multiple definitions that may be there. I have put up one definition which I'm going to share on screen. I am assuming that my screen is now visible for everybody. Can I get a confirmation, please? Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So what is the meaning of networking? One definition of that is the action or process of interacting with others. I think many of you mentioned connecting, interacting. to exchange information. And here it says information, but the exchange could be beyond information as well. Uh, but exchange is a critical element in networking. People don't network just to know people, just to get connected. The reason why people get connected is there is going to be some form of a exchange today, tomorrow, or day after. And that helps in developing professional or social contacts. There is also social networking. I'm sure you guys uh, would all be way more familiar than I am with Insta or with Facebook or similar platforms. So networking could be social contacts as well or professional, but in either ways, it is about connecting, interacting, and exchanging. Now, exchanging could be information, could be other things, but yeah, it is also about exchanging. Uh, so why do people go on LinkedIn? Probably similar reason for them to network and for them to exchange and gain from each other. I am going to move forward and now start talking a little about LinkedIn. So I have put together 7 strategies that can help you uh, expand the kind of opportunities that you can attract from your network. Now, these are, you can call it 7 strategies, or a better word to put over here would be 7 easy to do tips or possible things that you can do on LinkedIn. And what we will do is maybe we will also do a live demo. But before that, if I could quickly again hear from you, how many of us are, uh, uh, if I could have a show of hands or a yes, how many of us are already present and actively present on LinkedIn? All right, I see some yeses. Sujal says a yes. And I would like you to be open. If you are not, then please don't say a yes, because what I'm trying to do is get a quick understanding on how much of LinkedIn do you guys already know and how much should I dive deeper into. So yes, I see a few yeses coming in. Very good. So you guys are already there on LinkedIn. What I would also like to know is how active or frequent are you on LinkedIn? So if you could put maybe daily, once a week, twice a week, very active is then for me to uh, uh, think about your definition of very. Give me some specifics: daily, weekly, monthly, once in 2, 3 months. All right. I see daily, twice a week, daily, weekly, monthly as the responses. All right. All right. Twice a week, monthly, daily. So I can say that it's a varied audience. Some are more frequent, some are less frequent. Lavina says monthly. All right. Now my question to those who are either not having a LinkedIn profile created or have not accessed LinkedIn profile for, let's say, at least 1 month or more. So if you could put a yes on chat and help us understand if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, or you have a LinkedIn profile but you've not accessed the LinkedIn profile for close to a month or more. And please don't feel shy. Please feel free to uh, uh, share your point of view, because that helps me understand, like I said, how much about LinkedIn should I share? Okay, I can see 3 yeses. Jatin, Yash, Bhavesh, thank you for stepping up and sharing the reality. Anmol, Varyesh, thank you. Thank you. More than a month is what Tisha says. Thank you. All right. So in a group of 260 odd, we do have around 7, 8 responses who have shared that they've not really been active on LinkedIn. And for those who've been active, again, it's variety. Some said daily, some said weekly, and many also said, or some also said monthly. So which means that some of us are leveraging the power of LinkedIn. Many of us are yet to leverage the power of LinkedIn. And uh, thanks, that helps me know how much should I dive into. Now what I will do is I'll quickly get on to what are those 7 things which have worked for me or things that I have done, and maybe what you can also do on LinkedIn. I'm going to start with the first one. So, a disclaimer before the first one, which is put a like or a thumbs up, you need to have a LinkedIn profile. It is very easy to create. You decide how much content you want to put. You are in control of your content. Uh, as you go into settings, you also have a lot of privacy settings, which helps you decide how much do you want others to know or see about you, who should see what about you. Let me do one thing. Let me quickly unshare my screen. Yeah, I've unshared my screen. What I will do is parallelly, I will try and give you a brief uh, demo. All right, now I assume my screen is visible again. So I have logged into my own LinkedIn profile and I will try and manage this. So here you see, I can see me. If I come down, I can come into settings and privacy or settings and privacy. And there are a lot of privacy settings out here which you can explore and decide. If you look at your account preferences and privacy settings, you can decide who should know what about your account or how much about your account. Now, I did mention that once you have an account, what easy way of creating a network is, you go and you start liking what people have posted. So now I'm on my homepage. What you can see is a few posts where uh, somebody out here is uh, a speaker in a session from my network. This is my organization. They are talking about a certain event in which they will be participating. Someone out here has put up some kind of a report. Now, easy way of starting a network, let's say if you don't know somebody, but LinkedIn will still throw up things which he or she is talking about. All one does is come out here and click on the like button. Now, what this does is the person gets a trigger, and if you keep doing that frequently on what that person is talking about, the person gets multiple trigger, and your name registers to that person that, oh, it looks like this XYZ individual is following me. So, a easy way to start your networking is to just go read, figure out some new things, and just click on the like button to create some kind of a interaction or some kind of a exchange. The second thing which can be done is to follow. Now, what I will do, like I said, is give a quick demo around how do you follow people on LinkedIn. All right, let me maybe share my entire screen. This should make it easier, though I may have to toggle a few things. All right, so if I come here, I am coming to my network, and in my network, I see some of you have shared an invite. What I can probably also do is maybe search for a random name. Let's say I search for the name Rahul, and it'll pop up people who I know, who I don't know. It's popping up my first connections, which are people who I already know. If I were to rather ask it to populate people whom I'm not connected with. Now, let's say, for example, Rahul Bhatnagar, chairman and board member, Asian Paints. I should have known the individual, but somehow I have not connected with the individual. So I come over here. You see this more button. If I click on more, I should come down. It gives me an option to follow. Now, this is a very easy thing that you do where you just go and click on follow. If I could hear from you, what happens if I click on follow? What will LinkedIn algorithm do if I click on something as simple as follow an individual? Yeah, can I have somebody unmute and share your view around that? Their posts will come into your feed. That's right, Kavita. Thank you for sharing that. Every individual that you start following, if they are doing something, they're talking about something, their post starts coming into your feed. It will also suggest similar accounts and similar posts is what Tisha says, and you're correct, Tisha. It will also suggest things which are similar or by individuals who are talking on a similar topic or are of a similar profile. All those things start coming to you. So that's what happens if you start following. Uh, Following, though, is still a more one-way process where uh, you follow somebody and you start getting information. It need not necessarily lead to them getting information about what you are talking about. Now, that moves me to the third thing that you can do, which is again very simple, which is you can connect with people. And if I were to show you a live example over here, let's say Mr. Rahul Bhatnagar, uh, I have probably interacted with him in the past, but on LinkedIn we are not connected, or maybe I'm not interacted, and I want to start a network with him and interaction with him. Uh, there are two ways in which I can connect with him. One is I can click on the connect button. A better way usually is to uh, send a more customized connection. All right, I don't see the button out here for customized connection. Maybe we'll try again and we will see that. But yeah, so you can send without a note, or you can add a note. Ideally, it is better to add a note and then send, or you can directly click send without a note. Over here, I will click send without a note, and this sends a notification for the person to connect with me. This is something which in previous times people used to wonder, should I send a connection, should I not send a connection? But in today's date, people welcome that. Usually people are not having any issue with unknown people also sending connections, and people tend to still connect with them. Now what happens is, moment I did that connect button, Rahul would have got a invitation like this, the way I have got here. What I will do is I will accept and show how you should accept these invitations. Very intuitive, very simple. What one should ideally do is also read through who is connecting with you. This I usually give as a disclaimer, more from a safety, security, or cyber security point of view. If you feel that the profile is fake, it's okay not to connect with the person. If you feel that there's something fishy in the profile, don't connect. What it also does is it shows you how many of the people in your network is the person connected with already. So if someone is connected with 48 people, 145 people, I think I can trust that 145 people would not have added the person just like that. Though there is always a risk of that also happening, but it at least gives me a bit of a okay in my head to go ahead and connect with the person. Now I'll move a little forward. Okay, not sure if my screen is visible for you. And what you can do is comment. Commenting is again very easy. I think you guys are very conversant with social media. So I'll show you one quick option. You look at somebody's post, you see over here the comment button, you come over here and you type whatever you would like to send as a comment, and you hit the enter or the send button, and that's it. Sorry, you hit the enter button and your comment has gone to that individual. Another thing which I would like to add on over here is, when you comment, let's say over here, it is, I think, Sandeep's post that I'm talking about. So a good practice to do is to also add a @Sandeep. What this does is it tags Sandeep, and uh, your network gets exposed to Sandeep. Sandeep's next networks gets exposed to you, that you commented something on Sandeep's post. And all you need to do is type your comment and hit the post button out here. I will not be hitting the button because I've not really read. So I don't want to comment on something without knowing it. I am moving forward. The next thing is to share. Now, share can be done in multiple ways. One way of sharing is to hit the send button and to share individually with an individual anything that you would like to share. Other way of sharing probably also is repost, where you click on the repost button. you can repost without typing anything. You need not add your own insight or your own comment, or you can repost with thoughts. Moment you go and repost with thoughts, you have an option to type a few things. You also have an option to tag the person uh, whom you are posting about. You also have the option to put hashtags. So it is a good idea to put hashtags, because then that content, if anybody is talking about, starts coming more easily visible for you. So that is something which you can do. The next thing is, to stay active or to network on LinkedIn, one should write. Now, that obviously in the past required a lot of effort, required a lot of time. In today's era, I think it's much easier. And if I could hear from you guys, why do I say in today's era it is much easier? There's a reason why I say in today's era, writing something on LinkedIn is very easy. And if I could hear from you, why do I say that? All right, Gen AI, ChatGPT, AI, you guys got it absolutely bang on. It's become so much more easier. I still remember the first few articles that I wrote on LinkedIn, and the quantum of time and effort that went in, versus today, it is much more easy, where if you have a few keywords, Gen AI gives you half-baked article, and then you work on it, and it is, ready to be put up. A lot of people also do the practice of actually not writing their own content. They just put keywords, they get AI generated response, and they put it up on LinkedIn. Now, there's no good or bad. It is not something which is restricted. It is not something which is prohibited. But I would encourage you to write your own thoughts, because that makes you into a thought leader. It does not make you into a good AI executionist. So I would urge you to think yourself and write. You may leverage AI, but do have your own original thoughts that are written. Initial days, initial years, you may not know what to write, or you may be doubtful. So yeah, it may make sense to take a bit of help from AI, but as you progress, it makes sense to have your own original thoughts. Let me quickly come back to the live demo. You guys are being able to see the live demo, right? Can I get a quick yes or no through someone being unmuted?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I will just try and look out for something that I might have written. Let me show you an example. All right. So there are multiple ways in which you can write. It could be something basic, or it could be something which is more detailed. I'm trying to look out for something which is more detail oriented. All right. Give me a second. Let me go to activities. Let me go to all my activities, and let me go to articles, and maybe, yeah. So here are some of the articles that I've written, which are, let me pick one, which is, okay, Shubh Mangal recruitment. This is something that I wrote on recruitment, on what are the 7 selection criteria that recruiters attempt to know about the candidate. This is a more detailed way of writing. I shared with you, writing post, which is more easier. This is where you actually have a lot of thoughts, or, you are actually writing an article. The simpler way is to just write something which is more basic. Writing basic is simple. You come on LinkedIn, you come on, start a post, and you write whatever your thoughts are. Even if it's just one word, you can write it. It need not even be a sentence. So it's as simple as that. Writing an article is a little more difficult. Creating images is again a little more difficult. The article that I shared with you on, the images that are there in it were again created by me. So that's about writing. And images or media is again something which takes a lot of time, effort to create. So here are a few things which I thought I should share with you on basic, simple, along with a live demo on what you can do on LinkedIn. Uh, Now what we will do is we'll probably spend a bit of a time interacting, and I've shared quite a lot. I would like to hear from you. I'm sure it would have led to some questions that you may have. Happy to hear those questions. Happy to answer some of your questions before we move ahead. All right, I've also shared the link to this article. I think it might be of interest for some of you. You may take a look at it later. And I am going to stop sharing my screen so that we can have some interaction going on. Any thoughts, any questions, any queries? All right, you can put up your questions on chat as well. How to make someone reply back on LinkedIn? All right, thank you. Interesting question. How to make someone, it is still the person's will to reply back. You can use some psychological tips and tricks to engage with the person and, be in a zone where the person is more receptive and is wanting to answer. I will give you two ideas. One is if you ask an intriguing question, the person may reply back, but be careful, don't step on somebody's nerve. And another strategy to get people to reply is, I mentioned that networking is about an exchange. You want a reply. What have you given? You're wanting something, but you're not giving something. So how do you give? You give by maybe writing a comment, uh, saying, praising the person about, oh, the article that you've written is very interesting, or oh, happy to see that, you are part of so and so conference as a speaker. Your insights would have been very interesting for the audience out there. These are some ways in which you do that. So you first give and then you start receiving. All right. If I have 10 certifications posted on LinkedIn, is it necessary to add all in resume? Mehek, no, it is not necessary to add all of them in resume. Also, it is not necessary to post all of them on LinkedIn. You may choose which to post, how much to post. Since you mentioned about certifications, let me quickly give you one sample around that. So let me show you a bit from my profile. In my profile, I have, okay, for those of you who are new to LinkedIn in profile, I can talk about myself, a small summary of sorts. So over here, what you see is a small summary about my professional journey. Uh, I can talk about my experience, which organizations, from when to when, what work have I done. I can talk about my educational qualifications, what have I studied, where have I studied from, and you can see the name of HR college also out here. I am an alumni of HR. In fact, I continue to be a PhD student here at HR college. Licenses and certifications. So I have shown around 19 licenses. I will give you one example. So I did this on LinkedIn. And this actually has 9 certificates that they gave me. Now, instead of putting up 9 certificates, I have just put one and called it advanced. Whereas for coaching, I had put 4 certificates. And very soon I'm going to take these 4 out because I've done a bigger certification which proves my capability on coaching. So I don't need these 4 anymore. So you have to keep playing around with your profile. You need to keep it contemporary. I will be deleting these 4 and I'll be adding a new one. Or I'll be editing and removing these and I'll be adding a new one very soon. So I thought I'll quickly share that with you. Could you guys see my screen or no? Okay, I think you guys could not see my screen. So this is how the profile looks like. Yeah, so you can have your name, you can have a short description out here. You can have information about what organizations you worked in. You can have information on your education, licenses and certifications, projects, skills, publications, awards, honors and awards that you have won, any publication that you publish stuff in. In certifications, what I was showing was, for example, out here, instructional design. This has 9 certificates. I'm not using all 9. Whereas for coaching, at one point in time, I'd use 4, but I'll be removing these 4 and I'll be replacing them with a single certificate very soon. So yeah, that answers your question on certifications. I have tried to connect with people by sending connection requests with a specialized note, but did not get any response. It seems like the message never reached the person. Kavita, a lot of times the message reaches the person, but the person may be very busy. If you look at LinkedIn today, for example, for me, I have some 8,500, 9,000 odd connections. There are people with 1 lakh connections. It may not be possible for them to revert back or to accept. People may also be doing it like, okay, once a month, I will sit and accept all of them. So LinkedIn creates the opportunity or makes it easy or breaks barriers for you to network with people, but eventually it is also the individual's will. If he or she is wanting to network back, if he or she is wanting to spend that time back or no. Uh, LinkedIn does provide opportunities to play around and create a positive frame where the people where the person may get back or may interact or network with you, but yeah, it's all person dependent. All right, moving to the next question. How can I write a compelling LinkedIn summary that effectively showcases professional background and career? Pranav, first thing you need to do is list down key elements that you definitely want to put. Second thing is categorize them into categories. Uh, so for example, certifications in one category, academic related stuff in another category, awards in another category, and then choose what do you really or critically want to keep. One practice also would be once you have all of that, put it on AI. AI will frame the sentences and give it back to you, and then you can sit and edit and make it better. So that's the suggestion that I would have. Does filling description make profile look different from others? Yes, it would make the profile look different. It will help you make your profile look uh, unique and better. So depending again on the quality of description that you put in. All right, these are some of the questions that I've got directly on chat. Instead of direct chat, I'm also okay if you put it on everyone in the meeting. I don't know if that is enabled for you or no, or if you want, you can raise your hand and maybe someone will allow you to unmute yourself and ask a question. Whenever companies post a job requirement, how will it get reflected to us quickly? Good question. Uh, if you have a few dream companies, search for the company name on LinkedIn. You will get the company page. Click on the follow button. Moment you click the follow button, there's a higher probability that the job posting out there uh, comes in your feed. And you need to check your feed frequently, almost daily, or maybe a few times in a day for you to get that quickly. All right, Dhwani, I hope that answers your question. All right. Happy to answer more questions. Happy if you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Right. And give a couple of seconds for you to quickly think of more questions that you may want. All right. How long should the description be? Uh, uh, no, no limit in terms of words that I would personally put. What is essential is if it's a description, it should not be too long. It should talk about all the key elements that you feel will achieve your objective. Now, what is your objective? Is your objective getting a job? Is your objective being seen as a talent? Is your objective being seen as a thought leader? Is your objective to get more business for your entrepreneurial venture? Accordingly, the choice of words is more important. The choice of what do you include is more important. The size becomes secondary. Having said that, thumb rule, don't make it too long. People don't have time these days. Keep it as short and crisp as possible. All right. Hope that answers your question, Nandini. Uh, Open to more questions. Yes. So first, second, and third. First is people whom you are directly connected with. Second is people where you have one level in between. So for example, if you are connected to Kavita, and Kavita has shared a invite to me, which I have accepted. That means Kavita and I are connected. I am your second connection. There is one person in between. Third is where there are two people in between. So if you want to get introduced to me, you have one person, you have second person, and then I'm the third person. So you have two people in between to get introduced to me. So first in your network, second in your. The larger your first network, the better. All right, that's a good question, Dani. What if we do not, Dani, if we do not have experience, what should we write as an eye-catching or thing that a recruiter would want to see? See, firstly, you guys are, most of you are freshers. So if a recruiter is coming to your profile, they would come thinking that, okay, I want fresher profile. So not necessary that you should have something in the experience column. Having said that, experience uh, could also be if you have done something for your institute. It could also be something for example, a lot of people put, I am member of the placement cell. I am member of the corporate interaction cell from this date to this date. That's the experience that you have. It need not be a corporate experience. LinkedIn nowhere says that it has to be an organization name. It could be a college name as well. And you need not be getting a monetary salary for it to be called as experience. It could also be just the fact that you're part of the corporate interactions team and you're doing some good work. But please make sure if you put something, you should have done some work. You should have done some good work, because in the interview you will get questions related to whatever you've written. So if you've written something, you should have done that. Right. Posting content can improve connections big time. It can improve your connections to a great extent. When I started off on LinkedIn, I was actually very fortunate. I should say I have been networked as an individual even otherwise. So if I just look at my own Gmail contacts, whom I added, I had like 1,200 people or 1,200 friends on LinkedIn. And uh, between then and today, there have been phases where I've been more active, and there have been phases where I've been passively active, where I've not posted on LinkedIn, but I've at least liked, commented, shared on what others are doing. And you can see the result from 1,200 to almost 9,000. So that's what, 8 times, 9 times uh, uh, improvement in the number of connections. So posting information, liking, commenting, all the 7 things that I told you, it creates visibility. Your name comes more frequently in the feeds of people, and that is where your network starts becoming bigger. So in networking, there are two things. Okay, one is the width of your network, other is the depth of your network. LinkedIn can help you first create a width for you to be connected with many, many, many people who otherwise you would not have been able to connect with. Then goes the depth. How do you get the depth? Is by creating more frequent interactions, by sharing more content where then people engage and then you engage back with them on the content. If we have LOR of college club, so can we put that on LinkedIn? Could you help me with the full form of LOR, please? I have a message saying, could if we have a LOR, what's the LOR? Can we unmute? Is that possible?
Letter of recommendation. Letter of recommendation.
Letter of recommendation. Yes. So letter of recommendation is more like, I would say, it may not go in your experience. It can go as the post that you put up on LinkedIn. A lot of people talk about, oh, I received the letter of recommendation from my institute. Very happy. It can go in your awards and honors, because it's more like a honor, right? The college is honoring you by giving you a letter of recommendation, if I've understood correctly.
Yeah, sir, that's what I was talking about.
Correct, correct. So you can consider to put that in your early career stage. As you move forward, you would get other rewards, other recognitions. And that is where I would say that, okay, a letter of recognition is something which is not very difficult to get. Remove that and replace it with, awards that you won or competitions that
Okay.
you. To start off, that's a good thing. You should do such things.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes, what's the next question? Right, I'll wait for a few seconds for the next question to come in. Okay, I see no more questions for the time being. So what I will do is I will come back to the slide deck. Okay, let me actually just hold on, maybe come to a different screen. All right, now I'm going to try and take our conversation a little beyond social networking or professional networking for that matter is the starting point. Can I please get a confirmation that my screen, which is right now a blue screen, is visible for you? Is a blue screen visible for you? Can I please get a confirmation? All right, I have a few yeses on chat.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Just give me 1 second. Let me drag this away for my own visibility. And yeah, here we go. So, few things which creates a high demand professional. Okay, these are things which my interaction or my experience through that I've put down. First is your core value system. What's the value system that you've created as an individual matters a lot. Then comes your knowledge, skill, aptitude, or KSA, as you might have done in theory as part of your college, or capabilities or competencies. Then there is something that I call as the seven quotients. I have actually written an article. If you want to know what these seven are, you can actually go to LinkedIn, search for my name, and search for the seven quotients. IQ, EQ, you guys are already aware of. SQ, AQ, CQ, PQ, and DQ are other quotients which could help. Your education and institute brand also helps a lot in terms of you being high in demand. Now, if you are from HR college, and HR is a very famous or a very highly respected college, that respect actually rubs onto you as well. It becomes easy or comparatively easy to be high in demand for everything, whether it be job market or whether it be business. Uh, the pillars which can make you again successful is professional networking, learning and development. How much are you focusing on your own learning, practical exposures or experience that you gain, leveraging these connections, creating a perfect resume, and then preparing for that interview or for that call. Now, these are few things that I recommend for you to become someone who is very high in demand. You have to be networked. Uh, Imagine if a company visits your institute and you are already networked with 2, 3 people out there. You have the opportunity to know what's the culture. You have the opportunity to know what the profile is. You have the opportunity to know what the work is. You They have the opportunity to already know a little about you. I'll give you an example. So let's say for this specific session, even before I came and I started interacting with you, I had received a few friend requests, or should I say professional networking requests. And thanks to that, I can see a few familiar names. Even as soon as I enter, I feel like, oh, okay, I've seen this name earlier. And how do I know the name? Because the person has sent a professional networking request to me even before the session has started, or maybe by just a uh, uh, connection request. The person might have also sent me a text message saying, oh, we have your session coming in today, and I will be looking forward to attending your session. Imagine how does that make a person feel? For me, it would make me feel very, very good, right? So that's the power that LinkedIn can give you. And that is where, if you are networked, it helps. Learning and development is nothing but you. Uh, okay, let me do one thing. Let me dive a little into this. How do you do professional networking? We have this entire session that we've done today on LinkedIn. Learning and development. What do I learn? I wouldn't say last 3 years. I know a lot of you guys are already in TY, so whatever time is left, what certifications have I received? So, or maybe letter of recommendations and similar things also matter. Here are 5 that I am suggesting. I would suggest you should have done some courses or some curriculums around presentations, being an expert in Excel, being very good at communication, being productive, which is a lot to do with time management, and becoming a good job hunter. Now, these are 5 topics which I would suggest if you are wanting to, let's say, uh, get a good job, then you should definitely take a look at some courses available on these topics. What I'll do is on chat, I will put a few LinkedIn courses on these topics, links to them. I believe this is slightly dated, but I believe these courses are still active. So here are some basic topics which a fresher should definitely be good at. Practical exposure, how do I gain? You can do internships, you can do something for your institute, you can work in your any of your relatives businesses. uh, these are the ways you create opportunities, practical opportunities. So corporate internship, institute internship is nothing but being part of the placement cell or the corporate interaction cell. NGOs, it's also as simple as just going to a retail shop if you are wanting to specialize in sales and marketing and just see the interactions of customers. uh, Going to a CA and doing data entry for the CA, or being in a society meeting and seeing how people dynamics play. All of those are also practical exposures. Practical exposure need not mean you are part of some big fancy company and you have a big fancy designation. You can learn anywhere, anytime. Like that Three Idiots dialogue, Gyan Batra hai, all you need to do is sit there and take it. All right, now to the second part, which is leveraging connections. How do you leverage connections? Boss, you need to connect, you need to give, you need to call, message, email, figure out any means through which you reach out to the person. Your resume has to be perfect. I have a full 1.5 hour session that I do on resumes, which is, you to have your pitch story. It should look like your brochure, pamphlet. It should present you. It should pitch for you. It should look like an advertisement at times as well. How do you prepare for your call? This is more to do with let's say, if you are on a virtual thing, your internet needs to be there. Do you know someone inside the organization? Can you find out information about what's going on? What if you knew more about the culture? These are a few things you can do to prepare for your call. So yeah, these were few things that I thought I should share with you guys. All right, any questions on what we discussed earlier or what we discussed now? Right. We can unmute ourselves or put on chat. How is resume a pitch story? Resume technically is a pitch story in all aspects, which is it is trying to pitch for you to get the job. Now, how do you make it pitch? What do you include? How do you create the aesthetics? That's how your pitch story would be. In a normal story, you hear things like, okay, there needs to be a start, there needs to be a, some excitement created, some suspense, some thrill, right? In Indian movie stories, you will see some romance, some drama, etc., etc. How is your resume being interactive? How is your resume being attractive? How is your resume being intriguing for the person to want to read it, for the person to get to know more about you? That is what is, creating a pitch story. How do we find a person who could provide you a referral in the organization? All right, Shiv Kumar has a good question. Why don't I hear the answer from you guys? How would you find a person who can refer you? All right, let's first try to answer Shiv Kumar's question. How do you find a person who could refer you? LinkedIn. Nandini says LinkedIn. Yes, LinkedIn is one route to find out. LinkedIn can help you find out someone who who knows that person. You can connect through them. You can approach seniors. of your college is what Kavita says. Yes, Kavita, you're absolutely right. You can approach them. You can approach alumni who need not be seniors whom you've interacted, but are alumni of the institute. You can approach your professors, uh, Dr. Naveen, Dr. Jaya, Dr. Pooja. All the professors have very vast networks, and if you are doing some good work for the institute, they will also help you leverage their personal connections. Forget about their professional connections. I'm sure their professional connections they are anyways leveraging for you. So yeah, that should answer your question. How do you find a person to refer? Boss, thoda haath pair to मारना पड़ता है. You have to you know ring a few bells, uh, nudge a few people, and that's when you will get. Dwani has a comment on the previous question of pitch story. It should be crisp. Yes, it should be crisp. Too long resumes are not good, but it should yet communicate a story. It should communicate who the individual is. Why should the organization engage with the individual or recruit the individual? It has to be attractive. Yes. All right, moving on to the next question. Ishika says, how many internships are good enough for practical experience? Yeah, there's no limit to learning. The more you do, the better it is. Uh, Zero can also get you a job. Having 10, 20, 30 can also not get you a job. But either ways, the more you do, you develop more capabilities, and those capabilities will be useful somewhere. If not in a job, maybe you get frustrated of not getting a job and you start a business of your own, and those capabilities come handy to you. But capabilities are what people will recruit you for, and every internship will is one of the things what people will recruit you for, and internship helps create those capabilities. Internships, practical exposures, all of them. In which section to add financial reports? Done. Multiple sections in which you can add. If you have done a lot of work on them, you can add it in your own profile. The about you, the description section, that okay, I am someone who enjoys analysis of financial reports, etc. And I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, so many number. You can analyze a report, have a small analysis, and put it up on LinkedIn. And if you do that frequently, you start becoming famous for that as well. But if you do that, please ensure that you follow good data privacy, cyber security, and cyber laws practices. Because if you are posting some content or maybe even copyright practices, you shouldn't be infringing someone else's copyright. That's it. If you do, share it on LinkedIn. There are people who post daily on financial terms, simplifying concept just to remain active posting. Is it necessary? Good question, Kavita. Necessary का definition ना person to person change होने वाला है. It will also change basis the objective of that individual. What is the objective of the person and why is that person doing that is you need to be clear about your objective. For certain objectives, posting every day works. For certain objectives, posting twice, thrice a week works. For certain objectives, posting once a month is also good enough. So be clear of what's your objective and then decide how much of active visibility would you want to create. All right, Jay says, sir, I prioritize my 2 years in college club activities and earn good certificates. But third year took complete break for CAT exam. But I am planning to join internship right away after November. What should be my action plan from today? Jay, this is a very personal question for a single individual. I would not be able to answer this one right now, right here. Happy to see that you prioritize and done a lot of good work. It's okay to take a break, not a big deal. If you are planning to join an internship, please feel free to join. What should your action plan be? Depends on what your objective is. What are you trying to achieve, and hence what all you may want to do. One action plan I would recommend is, boss, if you've done such good stuff, put it up on LinkedIn and be present out there. Things will start coming to you. You don't have to do anything. Let me give you an example. I think I'll just quickly share my screen. I think out here the company name is not visible now. My LinkedIn profile, I've been wanting to update since a while, and I partially updated it, and rest is probably for this weekend. All right, now my Naukri profile is also not updated. And despite that, if I could quickly show, okay, I can't find that post. So I'll stop sharing my screen. But despite that, I've been getting posts saying, okay, here is the job opportunity. Are you interested in that? So if you are visible out there, if you're doing good work, your work will start getting attraction and you will start seeing people reaching out to you. Right? If suppose I have no experience to share or any personal opinion, so sharing some explanation concepts, LinkedIn correct, because I see that recently many of them do the same. There are no defined rules of, you should do this or you should do that, or you should do this first or you should do that later. Uh, Even a fresher, as part of their own college projects, does research projects, right? Even a small basic research you can write. You can also go to the extent of saying, okay, I read an article, I will reshare the article, and with that I will write 2 points, which is my opinion about the article or my learnings from that article. So you just read 1 page article, you put the link of that article, it is not your created content, and you're just writing 2 lines saying, boss, this is what I found interesting and I'm going to apply in my life. It can be as simple as that. What I would also urge you to do is be clear on your objective. If you are writing on LinkedIn, why are you writing? Because you are creating a perception about yourself. What is that perception that you want to create? And accordingly write on those topics. For example, I don't write about politics. I don't write about all negative things that are going on in the world because that's not my zone. I've been writing primarily about learning and development, about HR, about uh, uh, things which people can do for their career, etc. That's all. Leadership development, that's the small frame in which I have personally been operating because that's my either my existing core competency or the area in which I want to position myself in future as a thought leader. So you need to be clear of your future. What do you want for your future? Accordingly, talk about those things. All right. We have some more time, so we can take some more questions. Right. We'll take a few more questions. While we do that, what I will do is I will share my LinkedIn profile link. I am happy to be connected with you guys and to network with you. I have obviously some 8,500, 9,000 or people whom I'm networked with. Moment they all become your second connection. Look at the power of LinkedIn. I'm sure many of them would already be your second connection, but they all become your second connection. You're one step closer to your business deal, to your job offer, to your first uh, investment in your business or your first fund coming your way is how I would look at it. You guys also should definitely add each other to your LinkedIn connection request. You should add your professors. I think at the end of this session, Pooja madam, Naveen sir, Jaya madam, and all other professors should get at least, if not all 200, should get 200 plus invites saying, oh, we attended this session. We've realized the importance of uh, professional networking and we begin right now. We want to first add you as the first person and start, benefiting from the networks. I would urge you to do that. Go and see what they've written on LinkedIn and, like, share, comment, all of that. All right. So it's almost time, few more minutes left. Maybe a couple of last questions. All right, you may feel free to unmute yourself. All right, I see that we are done with questions. What I will do is I will share one more slide. Just hold on. All right, so this slide has my QR code to my LinkedIn profile. Either you can click on the link that I have put up on chat, or you can scan the QR code. And uh, thankful to HR College, to the Placement Cell, to uh, HSNC board, and to all of you for attending my session, listening to what I had to say. Right, if we have more questions, then happy to be here for a while. All right, I have one more question, which is LinkedIn Premium a good option? Satish, depends on your objective again. Uh, as per me, it is a very good option. Okay, I've unshared my screen. As per me, it is a very good option for two reasons. One, it gives me some data analytics. It helps me know who's visited my profile. So I know who's talking or thinking about me, and should I be connecting with them, or should I be expecting something from them going forward? Also, LinkedIn membership gives you access to LinkedIn Learning. And LinkedIn Learning is very good. I personally do like 10, 12, 15, 20 courses in a year on LinkedIn Learning, depending on how much time do I have. And both of them come in the same subscription. I think it's around 10 to 12,000 annual subscription. What I also suggest is the first month, I think, is free. So first month of premium membership is free.